Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I'm back here in downtown Chattanooga, and I'm gonna go on a photo walk with a 28mm on my Leica SL2. So let's go. I got 1 hour to get some decent photos, and then I'm gonna have to head on. All right, I'm here in front of the Hamilton Parts Company store from God knows how long ago. I really don't even remember ever seeing it open. Apparently it was an auto parts distributor forever. I got a couple of photos of the building, as you can see, pretty much to the point of condemning itself. What I want to do now is get a photo. Let's see here, if I can get it in frame so you can see it. It's not that brick building. That one right there, that little restaurant you see, Zarzer's Cafe, Zarzer's, and from the rumors I've heard, they're going to be closing soon because the owner who opened it initially is retiring. This little icon of Chattanooga is going to be going away for long, so I want to get a photo of it from the front, especially with no cars parked in front of it. So these cars keep going by and it keeps worrying me, but I'm going to go ahead and get the photo. Let's do that. Well, the road I'm on today is called Rossville Avenue, and having to pay pretty close attention because of all these parking lot entrances like this one. I'm just walking around trying to find stuff interesting to photograph. Well, I've got some pretty cool stuff here, like this, Exile. It's a social gathering place. I don't know if that's all gang tagging or what. Kind of looks like it is. This is a really nice area of town. There's a Mexican place across the street called Taqueria. I can maybe find something. The fence is kind of cool, but it needs something more. This is part of the Exile, I'm pretty sure. How it's blocked off where you can't access it from the street. And then across the street you have what is known as the Cook Poultry Company. It's a chicken processing plant. It's a huge operation, takes up all this space. It's enormous. There's two of these that I'm aware of in Chattanooga. There's this one, then there's the one over on Broad Street. Maybe I can get a photo there. Let me go across the street, see if I can dig up a cool picture of that. Let's go see. I'm making my way back over to Main Street, which is down this way. But on my way to Main, I've come by the Mount Carmel Missionary Baptist Church, and here's the church building. And I got a photo of it. I'm gonna try to make it like look cool, I guess is the right way to phrase it. I have a vision in my head of what this photo should look like, so I'm gonna try my best to see if I can make that vision come to life, and we'll see how it turns out. I also wanted to bring up a point that I get asked from time to time by people, and it gets implied from time to time by people, and that's, why do I use what appears to be a technically inferior camera compared to the offerings by Canon, Sony, and Nikon? Because honestly, this is the Leica SL2. If you're new to the channel, I've been shooting one of these for 2 or 3 years now. I've kind of latched onto this camera, even though it doesn't perform to the same levels that the modern equivalents from the big three I just named do. I enjoy the use, the action, or the interaction with the machine. It's a very, I don't know, it's a very polarizing design. You either like it or you hate it. So there's no in between. That's kind of the crux of the matter, as they say, is you don't like it halfway. And I've never been a super big autofocus geek. I started out liking the whole idea of autofocus, but everybody talks about back in the D810 days, it was bajillions of autofocus points, okay? How many autofocus points? And the problem with that is that the camera's picking what it's focusing on, not you. So I wound up using one autofocus point, or one of the deals where it's a little cluster. I don't remember what Nikon calls that, but they got a name for it. Group, I think, group. So you could pick a little cluster of them. And that way you could kind of tell it what's in that cluster. But you know, if you've got a crowd of people and you want to focus on a specific person, pretty sure that's life force for Erlanger Hospital. But if you've got a specific person you want to photograph in that group, then the camera may not pick that person. And you know, so I try to, that's why I use zone focus a lot, or range focus, whatever you want to call it. If I set the depth of field to where I know the subject I want to be in focus is there, then the picture is captured. And I'm not doing portraiture work. I really don't think that I could do good portraiture work. It takes a certain level of creativity for that, and I just ain't that creative. I end up taking pictures of buildings. It just seems like it's what my draw is, but yeah, I like the SL2 because of the interaction with the machine. I like the way the camera feels in the hand, for lack of a better term. And you know, like I said, I'm not persuaded by the latest autofocus technology or the latest video codecs or whatever. Don't matter. This ZF Nikon, I like it. I like it a lot. I'll probably be having one for too long, just to be honest with you. I like everything about that camera. So that's what I wanted to talk about for just a minute, but I'm gonna just stray down that little sidewalk for a second. I've gotten down here to a construction yard, and what I want to do is get a photo of it, because this is a very like subject dense area that's got a really cool photo waiting to be captured. It's kind of just an interesting feel for me. So what I'm gonna do is grab the photo of that, and then I'm gonna start heading back to the truck, because I'm almost out of time. I've wandered around down here for the better part of an hour already. It didn't take long. So I also went by and got me a couple of cigars, so we'll be enjoying them in the next day or two. Come to find out, my favorite brand has been struggling with problems associated with manufacturer, and they're hard to come by right now, which is kind of sad, but we'll make do. Anyway, let's get the photo of this. Well, it's been pretty nice to come out and do a little bit of a photo walk today and get my legs wet, you might say, in the waters of street photography or / urban landscape again, and to be able to take you guys along shooting 28mm. It's a different perspective. I have to get a lot closer than I do with my usual 50, you know, and it's pretty good to switch things up occasionally and just see things through a different lens, literally. But yeah, I just wanted to take you guys on a little walk, have a talk a little bit along the way, you know, the usual things. So if you enjoy this kind of content, leave me a comment, let me know that. All right. And if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, because we all know how much I like coffee, there's a link in the description. So until next time, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I'll talk to you later. And until then, get your camera out and go take a picture with it. All right, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.